And welcome to the second day of the Rural Futures Conference. We're very excited to have everybody here. And our goal for today is really to ignite action and get people to get into action, not just today, but also after they leave the conference. Our goal is to make rural a movement, something that we can all stay involved in, but work together in, and really create collective hope and progress. I want to integrate happiness into the conversation of hope. It's a positive psychology aspect that, like hope, has been proven to be very effective and successful in many ways. And to do that, I want to talk about a project. It's called Project Have Hope. Women in Uganda have actually also looked to hope to resurrect their lives from war, famine, and challenges. And they've used hope as their main theme to create an economy around hope. If you see the beads I am wearing today, they're actually hope beads. Women in Uganda are taking recycled paper and rolling them into beads and then selling them all over the world. I actually bought these in Memphis, so I know they're getting out. But this has created a movement in Uganda, so women are now sustaining their families and growing their economies. So hope is not just something here talking about it today, but as Shane Lopez said yesterday, it's happening around the world. Hope and happiness together ignite action, and that's what we'd love to see today and as a result of the conference. And we really want to know what activities and actions you take as a result of coming here, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Dr. Shane Achor. He is an amazing researcher around happiness, and I love this quote: "Raising levels of positivity in the present creates a happiness advantage in the brain, leading to better outcomes in the areas of education, business, and well-being," which are all very important areas for rural, of course, and urban as well. But think about changing that conversation. And that's really one of the goals of the Rural Futures Institute, is to change the conversation of rural to one of challenge to one of opportunity. Because wherever there is a challenge, there's also an opportunity. That's what innovation is all about. But if we're positive, the likelihood of finding those opportunities and pursuing them is greatly increased. So think about that for a second. I'm not saying it's all full of challenges, and I'm not saying there's rainbows and unicorns, and you're going to hear about that later today when I speak with Greg Tachek. But there are challenges in rural, of course. We know that. But there's also a lot of great opportunity. We heard that from a lot of our panels yesterday. We have so many great things happening in rural places and with rural people around the world, and we need to capitalize on that. Happiness ignites innovation. And I'm not talking necessarily about huge innovation. I'm not talking about creating the next Apple, Google, or iPhone. I'm talking about that incremental innovation that we can all work together to achieve, to make rural people and places more confident, increase capacity, and really show the world how important rural is to the livelihoods and lives of everybody. I don't know that we've shared this with anybody, so I did want to kind of review our goals for the conference. We did, as we started planning the conference, set out to achieve a few things. First, we wanted to encourage attendees to forge partnerships and promote bold, innovative ideas that result in vibrant rural futures. How many of you have met somebody new? Raise your hands. Awesome. That's really what this is designed to do, right? We want to meet new people. And I've been working in this space for a long time, and I love that we've seen so many new faces here. That's been absolutely phenomenal. So make sure to capitalize on those partnerships and the people that you've met. We want to foster a culture of innovation and entrepreneurship that builds hope and invigorates the rural landscape. We also want to inspire faculty, staff, students, communities, and partners to engage with the Rural Futures Institute. As Chuck mentioned yesterday, the Rural Futures Institute does not exist without partnerships. And that's partnerships throughout the university system, in our communities, in the public and nonprofit sectors. It's a huge issue. There's a lot of huge issues around rural. We need to come together to make them work. Our role is to be a catalyst to serve for that positive change, and we need to know from you how to better do that as we continue to grow and evolve. Your partnerships are essential to the success of rural. I know many of you have seen this quote or read this quote, but I thought it was really relevant to what we're seeing here at the conference, but also a lot of the work many of us do every day. We ourselves feel that what we are doing is just a drop in the bucket, but the ocean would be less because of that missing drop. And of course, Mother Teresa served the poorest of the poor. And we know that poverty is a challenge in rural areas around the world, and it's something that we are working on and need to address. And that's what Hope can do through projects like Project Have Hope, and making new possibilities around what we have in hand in our assets and our resources. But the challenges can be challenging and difficult. Sometimes I know we get up every day and we wonder if we've made a difference. But every time we move something forward, every time we have a more positive conversation, every time we make a new partner and a new friend in the movement to move rural people and places forward, we're making an impact. Sometimes it's an impact we don't realize we're even making until years later. In my work in Extension, we used to have an entrepreneurship club, and it was a fun club. We had a great time. But sometimes I wondered, is this paying off? Are people moving their businesses and their ideas and their dreams forward? Well, I didn't realize it until my sister actually told me. She lives in southeast Nebraska, and she's like, hey, Connie, do you know that the coffee shop in Tecumseh opened because of your entrepreneurship club? I'm like, oh, really? No, I had no idea. But as many entrepreneurs do, they go off and they go do their thing. And you may not see them or hear from them for a while. But the great thing is you can go have coffee there now, and it's helped to build a community. And that entrepreneurship club was a part. It was a drop in the bucket. But it made a huge impact and had a ripple effect. So it was good to know and good to get that feedback. But without my sister knowing that, I wouldn't have known that. So it's great to have those connections and know that you are making a difference. You do have some homework today, by the way. This is my old instructor self coming out. It's not a lot, but you did receive a folder, and in that folder there was a handout. And there are some today. Darla Hegum, are you somewhere with those handouts? There she is. So if you see Darla, my colleague there in the back, she has some copies as well. And before you leave today, we'd love to have you fill these out. One of the questions that you'll see at the top of that page is an extremely important question for us. Why is rural important? I'm sure many of you have been asked that question. We get asked that question quite frequently, and we really want to put together a research agenda around this question. We don't want to just talk about the emotions of rural or our personal attachments to rural. Those are all important, and if you have that to share, please share it. But what we really want to do is to be able to make the case for rural to people that maybe have never been to a rural place or don't understand our passion and purpose around rural. So please do share your thoughts with these questions and turn them in before you leave. It shouldn't take but more than a few minutes. Our role at the Rural Futures Institute will then be to take those answers and combine them, and we're going to be sharing that information out with attendees and partners. And you can actually go to our website and sign up to follow the Rural Futures Institute. Many of you I know have already done that. If you have not, please do. We'll be sending out information via our listserv.